It is coming up next. Randleman and Rizzo. The streets of Cedar Rapids have been padded. The walls have been padded to keep Kevin safe the last couple of days.
You said that. You said that.
I told Kevin that for 3 days.
Randleman certainly is prepared. There was a lot of question as to who suffered more, Randleman or Rizzo, from that injury. Randleman says he's in the best shape of his life. Rizzo was really disappointed, very down after the fight, because he felt that was his moment, his opportunity. And it almost seemed as though he was the one that had the chance removed, and he was the one that had it taken away. But they're going to meet now. Rizzo very prepared, good at his stand-up. Kevin Randleman, that big ball of energy, tremendous takedown artist, ground and pounder.
Now, UFC fans will find a nice surprise inside the latest edition of Rolling Stone magazine. The 20th Century Fox release Fight Club, starring Brad Pitt and Ed Norton, comes out on DVD this month. In conjunction with the release, the Fight Club people have chosen to give away a prize of ultimate proportion. And what could be more ultimate than an all-expenses-paid trip for two to a future UFC? For information on the contest, pick up the latest issue in stores now or log on to www.foxhome.com. And we here at the UFC want to thank Brad Pitt, David Fincher, and everyone at Fox for their invitation to be involved with this promotion. You know, Jeff, maybe it had something to do with Jennifer Aniston and our Friends episode from a couple of years back, or maybe just because Brad Pitt has been a UFC fan since the early days. Brad Pitt, one of our biggest fans, I'm sure, watching tonight. Whatever the reason, our thanks to them, and make sure to check out Fight Club on home video or DVD. We are going to have a fight for the ages coming up next. Kevin Randleman and Pedro Rizzo, the heavyweight champion against the #1 challenger. And I will tell you what, we have talked and talked about this fight until there were no more ability to talk about it any longer. And now, Jeff, I am bottled up in anticipation because we finally get to see these two greats go at it.
Well, everyone's been waiting for this. As you said earlier, literally, people have sued to see this fight. And it is going to finally happen here. Randleman, the UFC heavyweight champion, against the undefeated top contender, Pedro Rizzo. Rizzo bringing a wealth of striking skills into this fight. Very, very disciplined striker. Great hands. We saw that against Tank Abbott in Ultimate Brazil, putting Abbott down 3 times before ending the fight. So we know he's got some great hands. But there's also kind of a revenge factor in here. Rizzo defeated Coleman, and Randleman and Coleman trained together, and this is an opportunity for Randleman to get a little bit of revenge for his friend.
Well, if you want to break it down just from strength of fighter, Kevin Randleman is like Mark Coleman, ground and pound. Pedro Rizzo is the most dangerous striker in the heavyweight division. But some believe that Kevin Randleman, because of his pride, because of the person in which he is, will attempt to strike with Pedro Rizzo. Those who think that might happen think that Rizzo could be too much.
Certainly that may be a tactic that could prove a downfall for Kevin Randleman. His instinct is double leg, and we've seen how quick and powerful he can remove people from his feet. For him to go ahead and try to play a stand-up game against Rizzo raises a lot of doubts about who has the better stand-up. Certainly Rizzo's trained in that, came from that kind of background. Randleman comes from a wrestling background. So I hate to see emotion get involved when you see Kevin Randleman. He is a ball of emotion, ball of energy, super hyper, can't stand still. He's got to move around, and he loves playing to a crowd.
Oh, he will play to the crowd here in just moments. In fact, Kevin Randleman is by far the most physically fit specimen that we have had in the Ultimate Fighting Championships heavyweight division ever in our history.
Many consider UFC heavyweight champion Kevin Randleman the finest athlete mixed martial arts has ever seen. Agile, fast, and powerful, the monster was a 3-time Big Ten champion and 2-time U.S. national champion during his NCAA career at Ohio State. With former coach and present trainer Mark the Hammer Coleman in his corner, Randleman entered UFC 19 to take on former champ Maurice Smith. The quicker and more powerful wrestler kept Smith off balance throughout the fight and dominated from the stand-up and grounded position. Mo never even got off a punch, and Kevin Randleman had advanced to fight for the UFC title. In only his second appearance in the octagon, Kevin Randleman squared off against Dutch kickboxer Bas Rutten to fill the vacant heavyweight championship. Despite the fact that Randleman scored with several takedowns and controlled on the ground for the majority of the fight, the judge's decision went the way of Rutten. The entire Randleman camp was shocked, disgusted, and angry. Feeling cheated and robbed, Kevin Randleman wondered if he would ever fight in the UFC again. When Bas Rutten decided to step down as heavyweight champion to enter the middleweight division, Randleman was chosen to fight for the vacant title. His opponent would be Pete Williams, a man who knocked out mentor Mark the Hammer Coleman. With Hammer House pride and personal vindication on the line, a fired-up Randleman entered the octagon in Tokyo at UFC 23. With the exception of a first-round flurry by Williams, Randleman controlled the fight. Too quick, too strong, and too intense for the young heavyweight from the Lion's Den, Randleman scored with takedowns and classic ground-and-pound technique. The judge's decision was unanimous, and Kevin Randleman was crowned the UFC's heavyweight champion of the world. Finally, Kevin Randleman was able to enjoy the glory that many believe had been robbed from him 6 months earlier. Finally, Kevin Randleman had arrived. His first defense would be against undefeated Brazilian Pedro Rizzo at last March's UFC 24. However, in one of the most bizarre and unfortunate accidents in UFC history, Randleman slipped backstage and suffered a head injury prior to the fight. The main event was canceled, and Kevin Randleman was once again forced to deal with disappointment and adversity. And so tonight, 3 months later, the holder of the most coveted and prestigious title in the world of mixed martial arts returns to the octagon. UFC heavyweight champion Kevin Randleman has proven he has the mental and physical attributes to overcome every obstacle he has encountered thus far in his UFC career. Tonight, his only distraction is Pedro Rizzo. Tonight, Kevin Randleman has promised not to disappoint.
There he is backstage with his mentor, his training partner, Mark the Hammer Coleman. What is going through the mind right now of Kevin Randleman? The solitude, listening to some music, getting himself psyched up. He has waited a long time for this opportunity, longer than any of us have expected. But he told us the last couple of days, and he's been very loose, Jeff, that the setback as it was did not affect his training. He feels as good right now as he did 3 months ago.
Well, obviously you want to be in peak performance, and you really have to train your body and learn how to peak. And Randleman says he hasn't had a problem with it, but we both know that Pedro Rizzo feels that perhaps he might have. And certainly we want to have both these fighters peaking for this, what may be one of the all-time classics in UFC history.
Well, it is for the most prestigious honor in mixed martial arts competition, the heavyweight belt. Pedro "The Rock" Rizzo getting set to try to win the title here tonight in Cedar Rapids.
Pedro "The Rock" Rizzo is the most accurate and lethal striker the UFC has ever seen. A Vale Tudo expert and top student of UFC 7 champion Marco Ruas, Pedro made his octagon debut in front of his hometown crowd at Ultimate Brazil. With pinpoint accuracy and quick, powerful strikes, this young heavyweight dominated Tank Abbott, scoring the knockout and leaving one of the most feared men in the UFC flat on his back.
Tank Abbott is down! Pedro Rizzo the winner!
He returned to UFC 18 to take on Mark the Hammer Coleman. Using leg kicks and solid punches and good defense on the ground, Rizzo outscored the former champ and took the split decision victory. He had faced 2 of the toughest heavyweights in the UFC, and his record was a perfect 2-0. At UFC 20, he squared off against Lion's Den fighter Trey Telligman. The two went toe-to-toe until a fatigued Telligman found himself on the wrong side of a big right hook. Telligman was out, and Pedro Rizzo had scored his second knockout in the octagon. In a fight that would determine the heavyweight division's #1 contender, Rizzo took on Japanese shoot fighter Tsuyoshi Kosaka at UFC 23. It was TK's hometown, but this fight was all Rizzo. The Rock prevented TK from shooting with perfectly timed sprawls and scored consistently with leg kicks and punches to wear down Kosaka. In the third and final round, Rizzo dropped TK with a wicked left hook. Kosaka attempted to continue, but ended up taking a Rizzo right hand instead. The fight was over, and Pedro Rizzo had earned the right to challenge for the UFC Heavyweight Championship of the world. As has been well documented, the title shot would not happen as scheduled at last March's UFC 24. A disappointed Rizzo was placed in a bizarre situation where no one was to blame, but his 4 months of preparation seemed to be all for naught. Tonight, only 3 months later, he gets his shot again. The biggest fight of his young career, Pedro Rizzo puts his undefeated record on the line as he attempts to capture the most prestigious title in the mixed martial arts world today, the UFC Heavyweight Championship.
So now after 7 months, the wait is over. We are set for the Heavyweight Championship. Kevin Randleman, the owner of the belt today, against Pedro Rizzo, who would love to be the owner of the belt come a little later today and starting tomorrow. The 26-year-old said about the last fight it was nobody's fault, but he has trained his entire life for the 25 minutes that stands in front of him right now. He has fought some of the best in UFC history. He has defeated some of the best in UFC history. Pedro Rizzo, a perfect 4-0 in the UFC. His mentor is idol, Marco Huas, in his corner. Pedro undefeated altogether in mixed martial arts at 9-0 in kickboxing, 31 wins, 1 no contest. Altogether, he has 30 knockouts. He is the heavyweight division's most dangerous striker.
Rizzo's got also some great takedown defense. We saw that against Coleman late in the Coleman fight where Rizzo withstood those double leg charges. But I'll tell you something, I'd like to see Randleman get in there now. Randleman, I feel, has a quicker double than Mark the Hammer Coleman. So I think, you know, it's going to be a real challenge, particularly late in the fight, to see if Randleman can get him down. This promises to be everything that all the fans of the UFC have really hoped for.
Kevin Randleman won a unanimous decision, became the UFC World Heavyweight Champion in our second trip to Japan, defeating Lions Den fighter Pete Williams. He did that in UFC 23. It is now UFC 26. And with the Hammer in his corner, one of the most highly anticipated matchups is about to begin.
Grappler versus striker. We couldn't ask for more. Compact versus lean and long.
And we have the best seat in the house. Tail of the tape, Randleman and Rizzo. The wrestler's 2 years older, 3 inches shorter, and a bit lighter, coming in at 219 pounds. Pedro Rizzo, a very solid 232 pounds. Rizzo stronger than Randleman? Not a chance. Both explosive, both dangerous, both about to put it on the line here tonight. Here's Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event that UFC fans around the world have been waiting for. This fight is for the greatest and most prestigious title in mixed martial arts today. You are about to see a battle between two warriors as they fight to fulfill their ultimate field of dreams. As they fight this 5-round battle for the UFC Heavyweight Championship of the world. Beginning with the fighter standing to my left. He is a Valley Judo expert with a UFC record of 4-0 and a professional kickboxing record of 31-1. He is a veteran of Ultimate Brazil, UFC 18, UFC 20, and UFC 23. He is the #1 contender in the UFC heavyweight division, standing 6 feet 1 inch tall, weighing in at 232 pounds, fighting out of Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. Please welcome back Pedro "The Rock" Rizzo! And his opponent, standing to my right, he is a 3-time Big Ten and 2-time U.S. national, wrestling champion. He is a veteran of UFC 19, UFC 20, and UFC 23. 35 feet 10 inches tall, weighing in at 219 pounds. He originally hails from Sandusky, Ohio, and is fighting out of the Hammer House in Columbus, Ohio. He is the UFC Heavyweight Champion of the world. Please welcome the Monster, Kevin Randleman.
I think I just became a fan, brother. This is what the Ultimate Fighting Championship is all about. The two greatest heavyweights in the world about to square off for the most prestigious honor in mixed martial arts. None better than to referee this one, the Big John McCarthy.
Heavyweight Championship. Are you ready? Are you ready?
Rizzo looks totally relaxed, and Randleman looks like he's wound up tight.
Takes the center of the ring. Rizzo's been all business this week, Jeff. Randleman's been really loose.
And I think they both want to be exactly where they are in terms of attitude. And there's a little subplot here. Marco Lewis and Mark Coleman sitting in the corners of these two combatants.
The subplots and storylines are deep and somewhat complicated. Rizzo defeating Coleman in a prior UFC. Marco Ruas, king of the streets. Two legendary champions with their top students. Both of the fighters with hero worship for the guys, and I think I can say that with great accuracy.
Randleman sitting there right in front of Rizzo.
Randleman has the wrestling boots on. I think I got a feeling he wouldn't be kicking much.
Rizzo looks a little reluctant here to throw punches, knowing the takedown ability of Randleman.
The fans are getting anxious. Trust me, they will close this gap any moment now. Randleman spins away. And he's so quick.
They sort of hooked arms there. They both punched at the same time. And Randleman went down. Nice defense there by Rizzo.
Watch the knees. Watch the knees. Keep your head up.
It's here, man. It's underway. Randleman with a bull rush, throws him into the fence, and takes him to the mat. What a display of explosiveness by Kevin Randleman. This is my 13th UFC. No one's been jammed into the fence with that much force before, Jeff.
Appears the fence is tilted just a wee bit, but
Wow.
There's the can opener by Kevin Randleman, pulling on the head. Finishes up with a punch there. When he's fresh, Randleman is very difficult to defense against a takedown.
He's so strong, so explosive. He's in Pedro Rizzo's guard.
And we've seen Rizzo weather Mark Coleman's ground and pound assault from this same position.
Ended up that fight went the distance on the road to the heavyweight title back in UFC 18. And Rizzo took some punishment from Mark the Hammer Coleman that night. Rizzo said he thinks Coleman's a bit stronger, but he knows that Randleman's more explosive and a bit quicker.
And look at the length. Randleman's head is down mid-chest to belly. And that's going to make it awful hard for him to be reaching up towards Rizzo's head with strikes. Good defense there. Now he's in a position, but look at him. He's fully extended. He doesn't have a base under him to really throw punches from.
Look at the veins pop out of Kevin Randleman's legs. That is a physical specimen.
Well, you saw how he came into the octagon. He didn't use the door. He came over the top.
Wow. Now they talk about John Alessio being a natural. This guy's a natural too. But Pedro Rizzo is as dangerous as we have ever seen. And he understands he's going to have to play this game until he gets his shot to try to do what he is most effective at. I mean, at heart, Pedro Rizzo considers himself a professional kickboxer.
Striker. He comes from that striking orientation. Yes, he considers himself the kickboxer, and he has enjoyed tremendous success with his striking ability, but it is supported and complemented by his great defense if a wrestler is able to get him down or anyone's able to take him down.
When Smith beat Coleman in what many consider one of the greatest upsets in UFC history, Maurice Smith had to endure ground and pound for many a long minute until he was able to come up and be effective on his feet. It's 5 5-minute rounds here for the belt.
And again, pulling on the head of Rizzo, and that potentially can even be a chokehold. If your chin's buried really deep in your chest, it does affect your breathing. You can see the hand across Rizzo's face. Defense for the Randleman left hand.
10 seconds in round 1. Randleman just missed with that attempt a moment ago. Now Rizzo's closed the gap, keeps him tight, and round 1 comes to a close. Just getting started. Randleman even helps his opponent up. How about that?
Kevin's a classy guy. He's a competitor. He doesn't try to take advantage. He wants to win outright.
You see the corner of Kevin Randleman. You hear the corner of Pedro Rizzo.
Too much energy. Looking great, man.
Now you hear Mark
right
Coleman.
Get that right eye. Get that left eye. Get that left eye.
Well, everybody knows Kevin Randleman, the grappler, is extremely powerful and has a great double leg, and there he used an upper body tie and over-under, drove Rizzo into the octagon fence, and then once Rizzo impacted, dropped down, got a great double leg.
Go ahead and be patient. Be patient.
And then with an opportunity here to strike, he takes a huge right hand hook, missed Rizzo's head, nearly put himself out of position, but that punch was thrown with the intention of ending the fight.
Round 2 underway. And isn't it interesting that Kevin Randleman fights here tonight for the UFC Heavyweight Championship in Big Ten country, in Iowa Hawkeye country, because in his wrestling career collegiately, he won 3 Big Ten titles, which means he took out Dan Gable's best.
Yes, he did.
3 times.
People in Iowa know the name Kevin Randleman.
Absolutely, as they do Mark Coleman.
This is a wrestling hotbed. The Iowa Hawkeyes have won the last 4 NCAA titles in a row. Head coach Jim Zaleski taking over for the legend Dan Gable. But we got 2 legends in the corner here, Marco Ruas, Mark Coleman, and they're hoping their fighters who they're coaching.
And inside the making of our next legend, with Rizzo and Randleman. Both have already been as impressive as any in the UFC. Kevin patient now. He'll throw, and that's the thing. He will throw, but when he has a chance to shoot, he's going to do it.
Rizzo's moving forward now. We might see Rizzo now start to unload.
You know, when you look at who Pedro Rizzo has defeated, Tsuyoshi Kusaka, Mark, I mean, he's defeated some of the best of the best.
And we've had the chance to watch his development, both physically and technically.
Yeah.
And it is impressive. Rizzo just not throwing punches. I wonder if he's going to save it for the later rounds. He seems to be very much conservative here, not trying to open up with strikes. Randleman standing dead still, daring Rizzo to throw a punch. He's daring him to throw a punch.
Let's get busy, boys, John McCarthy says.
Mind games.
There's anticipation going on, man.
I wonder if visions of Kobe Arena in Detroit, Dan Severn, Ken Shamrock right there. Rizzo with tremendous respect for Randleman's ability to shoot. Just doesn't want to miss with a big punch. And Randleman's got the quickness to get under that punch and get to the legs.
They're within punching range now. Randleman misses with the left.
Crowd a little restless. They want to see a little more scoring from these two. but it's a 5-rounder. There's plenty of time.
Kevin smiles.
He dared Rizzo to kick him. He said if Rizzo tries to kick, I'm going to catch the leg and take him down. And Rizzo hit him and had it back before Randleman could react.
Come on, guys. Get after it.
Those will leave an indelible impression. Rizzo, as time goes on, appears to be gaining his confidence. Now he's got the center of the ring. Randleman won't back off though.
Now we're down to a minute. Somebody can steal this round now. There hasn't been any real scoring here.
Randleman earned round one. This one's wide open with 56 seconds remaining.
Came in with a nice right hand there, did Randleman. Rizzo still reluctant to open up with his fists.
I wish I spoke in Portuguese, because Ruas has been very vocal.
And we all want.
High kick raises off the head, and Randleman says, bring some more of that. But that's about 3 or 4 kicks, little ones, big ones, and Randleman hasn't shot.
Perhaps Rizzo now starting to feel it. And you can see Randleman now very, very aware of Rizzo's hands, swatting. Oh, and he hit him with the left. Randleman got right in.
Randleman just says, hey, no big deal. Was it no big deal, though?
I'm not sure how the judges are going to find a score that. But certainly when you can score late in the round, it tends to steal the round. There wasn't hardly any scoring in that. That could have been a draw. I agree with your assessment of round one, though. Early on, Randleman tried another right hand. Left, there's the left, and there's the right hand, and grazed Rizzo's face. Didn't hit him flush. And then Rizzo returned the favor, grazing the head of Randleman with that big roundhouse kick. The skills starting to come out of these two.
Pedro has had a scowl on his face for the last 3 days. It's still on his face. Respect, but no love lost, if that makes sense.
Well, we saw Frank Shamrock throw away rounds to fatigue Tito Ortiz. But thus far, 1 round Randleman in our book. Perhaps a draw in that second one. Rizzo's got to start to get busy.
Yeah, there was no fatiguing factor in round 2 for either fighter. And Randleman has promised all his fans that he will never gas out. Well, never's a very long time, but Kevin Randleman is known for being in excellent physical condition. Comes in at under 220 pounds and 4.2% body fat. He is a cardio freak.
Certainly one of the biggest and yet cut bodies ever in the UFC.
They understand that this is business in here because they met 3 or 4 years ago in Brazil, hung out, talked on the beach. Randleman said, hey, Pedro, his is a great guy. Maybe we can go out to dinner with our girlfriend sometime. Right now, though, they're not thinking about anything except trying to destroy their opponent. And the nose is cut of Pedro Rizzo. He's saying something to McCarthy. McCarthy shakes him off. But there is a cut on the face of Pedro Rizzo.
And it's at the top of the nose, between the top of the nose and the eye.
Might have got him with the shoulder, Jeff, when he bull rushed in.
He definitely bull rushed. Did not see the strike that caused that or the incidental contact that caused that. But Rizzo's bleeding. Who knows, they might have cracked heads when during that flurry, incidental headbutt.
Randleman smells
right there. It seemed as though Randleman's head did graze Rizzo's.
Get your hands up! Finish him!
I feel something about to come here, brother. Who will it be?
It also seems that Rizzo's left eye is a bit swollen. Randleman sitting back. Rizzo not hurt, but certainly the cut may pose a problem for him. Has to play defense.
Randleman tried with the left.
Has a fast jab.
2:12 remains in round 3. This one could go 5 5-minute rounds.
Come on, guys, you gotta get after each other. Let's go. Yeah, be so tentative. Come on.
Quick jab again. Nothing there.
Nice kick by Rizzo.
Let's go. You gotta score some points, baby. Let's go.
Rizzo might want to do a few more of those.
Take him down.
Randleman's almost baiting him. He's keeping no weight on the leg, ready to catch a Rizzo kick.
Stay away.
That eye is swollen. The left eye of Pedro Rizzo's almost swollen shut.
Right hand by Randleman trying to counter that leg kick. Another jab. And that eye definitely is swelling up.
Kevin, you gotta score, baby. You gotta score. Come on, score late here.
Anticipation here in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, the 5-season center. Mike Goldberg, Jeff Blatnick, James Wormy, happy to be with you. Heavyweight belt on the line.
And Rizzo's problems are now compounded by that bleeding and by the swelling in the left eye. Still capable. He can still see Randleman and react to him, but later in the fight, that will be the question.
Kick by Pedro Rizzo.
That one did connect to the face of Randleman. And Randleman hit him when he came in that way too. Randleman caught him as he was kicking and then got the takedown.
Round 3 has come to a close.
And a great performance by Randleman late in that
He was shooting in and their heads collided.
round, and you got to admit that was a great finish for Randleman. Randleman did shoot a takedown that caused the cut on Pedro Rizzo. Their corner's saying that was a headbutt, but he clearly wasn't trying to headbutt him. He was shooting the takedown, and we can see it there. Into the corner they go. And it was that incidental head contact that appeared to have caused the cut on the top of Pedro Rizzo's nose. Right here, right there, as he crossed over the front to get his head down for a takedown attempt. The heads touched, and Rizzo complained to John McCarthy he got head-butted, but it was not a headbutt. The two were engaged. It looked like Randleman was trying for a takedown. That incidental head contact caused the cut. Randleman seems fine here. No more bleeding, they stopped that. Cut didn't bleed much more in that round, and they continue action. Perhaps now Rizzo will have more purpose and try to use his fists more. We've seen him pull on the punches before, but he has been conservative to this point. Plenty of time left. Round 4.
Come on, guys, you gotta get after each other. Don't leave to each other. Let's go.
The two in range now. Rizzo can still see out of the left eye. It's not swollen shut. But Rizzo seems tentative. He has not moved forward, stalking Randleman. Randleman standing dead in the center of the octagon.
Gotta get busy.
We have not seen ground and pound though.
Just that first period or first round when Randleman had the opportunity, and
Absolutely.
Rizzo's defense was very good. Randleman never really got off.
Kevin's not really trying to shoot, Jeff.
Not openly, no. He tried it right away, and Rizzo countered him out, so he knows he needs a better setup, or at least he appears he knows he needs a better setup. What he's been doing is waiting for Randleman to kick and catch the leg, or pin Randleman up against the fence and then drop down and rip the legs out from under him.
Is it a respect for the striking ability of Pedro Rizzo that has made Kevin Randleman a bit more patient with trying to shoot the legs?
I think it's more that he knows Rizzo can counter him with the sprawl straight out. So rather than become predictable, he's taking away Rizzo's offense. Rizzo's reluctant to throw a lot of punches, knowing Randleman can go under him. But Rizzo's running out of time. There was a right hand by Rizzo.
So this fight belongs to Randleman right now?
I think it's 2 rounds to 1 Randleman, or 2 rounds and a draw in that other round, the second round. Randleman ahead.
And that flurry at the end of 3 helps Kevin Randleman solidify that round.
Certainly with the takedown, clean takedown. Rizzo did have that nice kick, but it really wasn't a powerful kick that was more flashy. But truly in that round, that was his best score.
Right. Aggressiveness, striking, grappling, some of the major criteria used by the judges in rendering a decision. This one's scheduled to go 5-minute rounds. This is round number 4. The heavyweight belt is on the line.
Both seem to have lots of energy. But both at the moment not using any of it. A lot of tactic, a lot of daring. Each trying to force the other to initiate. Rizzo looks to counterpunch or leg kick. Randleman, he'll take his shots when he can get them on his feet, but what he likes is the takedown. He wants to ground and pound. Randleman seemed to get his feet tied up there a little bit.
Yep.
Wasn't sure which way he wanted to go. But Randleman is much more upright now than he was in the first round, when he had a much more of a crouch in his stance facing Rizzo. The crowd wants to see some leather.
1 minute remains in round number 4. McCarthy wants to see some leather.
They're both trying to get the other to initiate. This is severed shamrock all over here.
You gotta go, come on.
The anxiousness of the crowd, the anticipation of this great matchup. Severin Shamrock back July 14th, 1995 in Casper.
Oh, right hand by Randleman.
Randleman again, late in a round, scoring some valuable points.
I'm not sure that's going to be enough to steal the round, but certainly he's not going to lose the round and may go to a draw again. This crowd, after seeing Pat Miletich win in such explosive fashion, getting a mouth, raining punches, and then an armbar, they're expecting more out of Kevin Randleman and Pedro Rizzo in this heavyweight championship fight.
Now the question remains, Jeff. Rizzo is behind in the fight, so he has to become aggressive. Something tells me Kevin Randleman still would love the enamorment of a knockout. So this 5th round could be very magical.
You got to believe that Randleman's best position would be to get Rizzo down with a takedown and end the fight down there with Rizzo on his back. If this fight ends in the standing position, Rizzo still has a good opportunity.
Here we go, 5th round. Who will it be, Kevin Randleman or Pedro Rizzo? 5 minutes remaining in the biggest night of these two fighters' career. Rizzo saying he's trained his whole life. He does not want to leave it in the ring. Now or never.
And once again, Randleman initiated that exchange. Left, right, coming in. Counter throw punch by Rizzo.
I'm going to give you both a foul. Let's go. You got to get working. Not going to let it stand here. Let's go.
There has been very little ground and pound, as Jeff said, just in round 1. Other than that, they've sized each other up, but no one has delivered with any devastating punches in the 2nd, 3rd, or 4th rounds. There's Kevin Randleman trying to tie up Pedro Rizzo.
Rizzo's waiting for him. He's in a stance. He's on balance. His arms aren't extended. He's in a great position to wait for Randleman.
Are they almost too smart right now? They know each other so well.
Well, I'm looking at the leg of Randleman, and I'm looking at a couple of big bruises from those Rizzo kicks earlier. But it's been a long time since Rizzo's had some scoring. Rizzo's got to get active. He's got to get busy if he expects to win this fight.
I remember it was said at one point those kicks of Maurice Smith, which bruised up the leg of Mark Coleman. When Maurice Smith became heavyweight champion, were like a baseball bat going across your leg at 85 miles per hour. But there's a lot of muscle intertwined that feels like steel on the legs of Kevin Randleman. 3 minutes remains. There's the bruise that you were talking about.
It's a welt.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be more than a bruise.
Kevin, very proud of the physical development of his legs and the power he possesses in them, says, go ahead and kick these. What are you going to do to them? Well, it's obvious good strikes do a lot, but it hasn't slowed him down one bit. And to this point, it seems that's the best blow that Rizzo has thrown.
So what does Rizzo have to do in the next?
Rizzo's got to get busy, start throwing combinations. Don't worry about the takedown. If you don't hit him, you're not going to win. It's my feeling, and it's just my feeling, my opinion, that Randleman is ahead on the cards. Rizzo just hasn't put much points up. He hasn't scored much. And his weapons, his best weapons are his hands, and he hasn't used them very much.
Tonight, can Kevin Randleman avenge Mark Coleman's 3rd loss? He did it against Maurice Smith. He did it against Pete Williams. Now he looks to do it against Pedro Rizzo. A minute and 45 seconds may separate him from doing that very thing. The fans once again anxious. 1 minute 32 seconds remain. Oh, the knee, and it connected. Here we go.
And Randleman's not making the mistake of keeping his hands down. Look how high he's holding them. Poses problems for coming in.
Pedro's got to let it all hang out here, Jeff.
He's got to sprint now. He's down to a minute. If he doesn't sprint here, I don't know why he's in the octagon. He hasn't thrown many punches.
Marco Ruas just looked at his watch. He's got a look of disappointment on his face. He wants Pedro to go now. I know that much. 1 minute remains. Remember the flurry Rutten had late one of his fights to win against TK? Randleman happened.
Rizzo is, I don't know what's wrong with Rizzo. Rizzo's not looking to be aggressive, not looking to punch. Randleman knows he must be ahead on the cards. Another left hand by Randleman. Some of the fans not happy with the lack of action from these fighters. And they're letting them know it with their criticism there, the booing. But Randleman's done enough so far. Rizzo is the big question. And that's going to do it here.
Kevin Randleman, Pedro Rizzo never got as busy as many anticipated they might. We await the official decision, but Jeff and I think we already know what it is. Kevin Randleman, the monster, should retain his heavyweight title. Good knee there. That was in round 5. Pedro Rizzo never looked like the Pedro Rizzo that we saw knock out Tank Abbott, win a split decision over Mark the Hammer Coleman, knock out Trey Telligman, and force referee John McCarthy to stop the fight against Tsuyoshi Kosaka. He's beat up. And there is frustration in the corner of the Marco Huas team. A lot of frustration. Let's watch the knee again. Randleman didn't ground and pound, but he delivered a few strikes, and that one, it looked like it caught Rizzo right under the chin, right on the top of the chest. And of course, Pedro Rizzo at that point had to back off, but he knew that there were many occasions in which he had to try to ignite his performance. He had to try to become the aggressor. And for one reason or another, Pedro Rizzo never did that. And it is going to cost him, most would believe right now, it'll become official soon, it is going to cost him his first defeat in his very impressive UFC career. The official word is in. Let's get the announcement from Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a unanimous decision for the winner and still UFC heavyweight champion of the world, the monster, Kevin Randleman.
So Kevin Randleman, no surprise here, retains his heavyweight belt. He ups his record to 3-1. Kevin Randleman, the specimen, a natural, the monster, victorious. He is in the octagon with Mark Coleman, trying to work his way towards my partner, Jeff Blatnick. Jeff, what do you got, bud?
Well, I'm trying to get Kevin Randleman over here for an interview. Kevin, can we get you over here for an interview, please? Well, he's going to congratulate Pedro Rizzo here. I'm now with Kevin. Kevin, congratulations on defending the title and retaining your belt.
Let me say something real quick.
Go ahead.
I understand the boos. And I definitely deserve it. All right? But I can tell you this. I came in here to strike with a striker, not to come in here and wrestle him. And if I got knocked out, then that's so be it. I came in here with one plan. That's to stay on my feet, take him down when I could, box with him. He's the striker. I'm the wrestler.
What do you think the difference was in this fight?
I'm in shape. I mean, we didn't do too much. We didn't engage each other as much. I think Pedro and I just respected each other way too much. And for the fans, hey, I apologize. We didn't open up. But that's life. That's life.
Well, I'm also here with Mr. Bob Meyerowitz, president of SEG. Bob?
It was a great tactical fight. It's always a pleasure to watch you fight. You give it your all. I know that sometimes the fans don't understand everything that goes on in the octagon, but it's a chess match, and this was a great one. I look forward to your being part of us for a very long time. Thanks, champ. Thank you.
Kevin, you said your strategy was to keep it on the feet standing. Did you fear Pedro's hands?
No. Mark and I have been boxing for, I've been with a boxing coach and a jiu-jitsu coach for the last month and a half. I mean, you're only gonna be as good as how you practice. And I practice a lot, but I don't get to strike with people as much as maybe Pedro might. I mean, it's just Mark and I at Hammer House, and we beat each other up. But we can't keep fighting each other because I might not be able to fight, and he might not be able to. You know, I apologize to everybody. You can boo me, I don't care. The belt is mine, and it's in Hammer House. And I believe right now we can honestly say that we're number one, fucking number two. To everybody back in Sandusky and in Columbus, over at Gail's house, Eric, Barbara, Gail, Mo, everybody, I knew you guys were with me.
Kevin, thank you very much. We wish you and Mark the very best of luck.